Hey guys, happy Halloween! Yeah, October is one of my favorite months. I love the change of season. The weather is perfect. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. Like today was 65 degrees. It was really nice. And I love, the fall colors with the trees changing, yellow, orange, and red. It's a really nice time of the year, I would say. And of course, there is Halloween. So yeah, Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, but since I do really like fall and October, I try not to let Halloween take over the whole month. So my tradition is I don't do any Halloween related thing until October 20th, and then I have the 11 days. Growing up, I always went trick-or-treating. My mom and my aunt, they really liked Halloween and they liked scary movies. So yeah, around that time, my mom and my aunt, they would stay at each other's houses, and we would go trick-or-treating and we watch a few scary movies. So yeah, I've seen a lot of scary movies since I was a kid. Like Halloween, Child's Play, Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Pet Cemetery, Children of the Corn, all types of scary movies. So yeah, I remember them being pretty good. And yeah, as I got older, I stopped trick-or-treating. They have like scary parks that they set up with like haunted like houses and forests and things like that, or like Halloween parties and stuff. But yeah, the last couple of years I've just been, staying at home, getting a pizza and wings and watching a movie or something like that. So yeah, I've seen some new scary movies over the years. Like the plot seemed kind of interesting. Like I've watched Jezebel, The Nun, Slender Man, The Conjuring, a few other ones, and yeah, I don't know, to me it leaves a bit to be desired. Like the plot is good, but I don't know, the movie doesn't get my attention that much. I don't know if I'm just getting older or what, but yeah, I do have a list of my scary favorite movies I've seen over the years. Some of them are throwbacks. They're from like a while ago, for that reason. Yeah, let's get started. And I'm not going to give too many details because I don't want to give any spoilers to the movies. Okay, first up I have Hocus Pocus. So yeah, this is like a classic. I grew up watching this movie, so yeah, it's about three witches. It's set in Salem, Massachusetts. So yeah, the storyline is pretty good as well. It's about three witches, a couple of mortals, and a kid sister. So yeah, it's a Disney movie and it's geared toward kids, but yeah, I still enjoy it. And next up I have the movie MidSummer. This movie came out a couple of years ago. I believe it's a remake, but yeah, the one I saw is from 2019. I saw this in the movie theater, and yeah, I was pleased with this movie. It was pretty well done, and this movie is weird. And I mean, it's weird in a good way, or what you would expect in a scary movie. But so yeah, it's about a young lady. So yeah, she goes with a few of her friends, I believe, to Sweden, to the northern part of Sweden, to the villages in the northern part of Sweden, for a celebration called MidSummer. It's a pagan celebration. So yeah, and then some strange things start happening. So yeah. All right, and next up I have the movie Annabelle. This came out in 2014. This is based on a true story, but instead of a porcelain doll, it was actually a Raggedy Ann doll. So yeah, it's about a haunted doll. So yeah, it's about a family that receives this Annabelle doll, and yeah, strange things start happening. So yeah, it was pretty well done, and yeah, I did enjoy it. Next up, I have the Orphan. This movie came out in 2009. And yeah, it's about a couple who adopts an orphan. And this movie was not what I expected. But yeah, I do like twisting. Okay, so next up I have the Evil Dead 2013 remake. I did see the original one as well. And yeah, usually I think the original is better than the remakes, but with this, I'm gonna say that they did a pretty good job with the 2013 remake on the Evil Dead. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, it's about this group of friends. They stay at a cabin they found in the woods, and yeah, it turns out to be possessed. Okay, so next up I have Poltergeist, the original from 1982. So yeah, this movie is about a haunting. A haunting of a family on their home. So that happened to be built over human burials. So yeah, I remember. Yeah, I first saw this movie when I was a little girl, and yeah, it really freaked me out with, one of the younger daughters in the movie. She gets trapped in the TV or something like that. So yeah, that really freaked me out when I first saw it. But yeah, it's a pretty good watch if you haven't seen the movie. Okay, next up I have Hostel, Hostel. Came out in 2005. So yeah, I've only seen this movie once. I was like 21. I do remember it was pretty good. So yeah, it's about these couple guy friends. They go backpacking out in Europe. They end up in Eastern Europe, and it's about the black market and things of that nature. So yeah, it was pretty good. Next up I have Halloween H2O, which stands for Halloween 20 years later. Yeah, I've seen, Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 4 and 5. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. So yeah, I mean, it's like a movie based on the day of Halloween, so yeah, it's pretty fitting for my list. So next up I have the movie Scream, the first one that came out in 1996. So yeah, I first saw this movie, I was pretty young, I was a kid, and I've seen it a few times since. I last watched it a few years ago, yeah, and each time it's been pretty good. Yeah, it's about these high school students. Yeah, it's about a killer in the area that's going after high school students. So, yeah, it was pretty entertaining. Okay, so next up I have the movie Signs. This came out in 2002. It's about an alien invasion. I do like alien invasion movies. It's kind of adventurous for me. So yeah, I really like this movie. And I really like the cast and the soundtrack. Alright, so next I have the movie Oculus that came out in 2014. So this is a movie about a brother and a sister and a haunted mirror. So this is a pretty good movie for just being based on a haunted mirror. Yeah, it was a pretty good watch. The ending is horrible. Not in the sense that it's a bad movie, it's just that the ending is horrible. Okay, so next up I have War of the World. So this is another alien invasion movie. Yeah, I saw this movie once or twice. Yeah, it was pretty good. From what I remember, it kept me engaged. So yeah, it has Tom Cruise, and then Dakota Fanning plays his daughter. Yeah, Dakota Fanning was a little kid in that movie. She's my age, so Yeah, they were like aliens that looked like some squid or something like that. But yeah, it was a pretty good movie. Okay, and next up I have Amityville Horror. So, I like the original one that came out in 1979, but the remake, I believe the remake was from 2005, was also pretty good. So, yeah, Amityville Haunting is one of the most famous hauntings in the US. So, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, I like the original and the remake. So next up I have the Blair Witch Project. So I remember seeing the original one from 1999 when I was a kid. Like I remember my mom and my aunt watching it, and like I don't know, to me it just seemed like they were walking around in the woods. I didn't really get it. Like I didn't think it was a good movie, but yeah, years later I wanted to revisit it, and I saw that a remake had come out. It was the remake from, let's see, 2016. So I'm like, well, I don't remember liking the original one, so let me just watch the remake. So yeah, I watched the remake from 2016, and yeah, it did get me engaged. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Yeah, they were still, walking around in the woods, but yeah, I got the plot of the movie, and I got, more of what was going on. It kind of reminded me of the horror version of Hansel and Gretel. Yeah, I do remember liking. Next, I have the Omen. So, I never saw the original one from the 70s. The one I watched was made in 2006. Yeah, I remember first watching this with my mom, and then I watched it a few times after that. But yeah, I really liked the movie The Omen. So yeah, basically it's about the Antichrist, the biblical story of the Antichrist. So yeah, it was a pretty good movie. And next I have the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So yeah, there's a few remakes of this movie. The one I saw was from 1978. And yeah, this movie was really good. It's about some sort of spreading of some alien infection of some sort. But yeah, I really liked that movie. Okay, and next up I have Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992. It has Winona Ryder, Keanu Reeves. I do like these old tales. I really wanted to like the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow. Is that what it's called? With Johnny Depp. But yeah, that movie just didn't make the cut for me. But yeah, I did like this movie, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I love the setting in Europe, and yeah, it was pretty well done. So next up I have The Shining from 1980. So this movie is about a haunted hotel. It's about a family that gets stuck in a haunted hotel due to a blizzard. So they don't have any way out because it's like up in the mountains or something like that. So yeah, they're pretty much stuck. And yeah, the dad starts becoming possessed. So yeah, this. Okay, so next up I have a old Hollywood movie. I do love old Hollywood. So this movie is Rosemary's Baby from 1968. So yeah, this movie is about a young couple and Satanist. So that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I definitely recommend this movie. It was pretty good. Alright, and then I have the Purge. So yeah, there's been a few Purge movies. I wouldn't really say one over the other. They were all, pretty good movies. The first one seemed like a bit of an introduction to the sequels, but yeah, it was pretty good as well. So yeah, I think I've seen the first 3 or 4, but yeah, from what I remember, they were pretty entertaining movies. So yeah, it's about one day out of the year the citizens of America have to commit, you know, any crime that they want. So yeah, that's basically what the movie is about. Prepping for and, you know, surviving that day. And last but not least, I have the movie The Ring from 2002, starring Naomi Watts. It's more than just a horror movie. It has a sad story too. Yeah, I thought this movie was pretty intriguing with the storyline and everything. Yeah, the acting was good, and yeah, definitely one of my favorite scary movies. But yeah, that was it for my top favorite scary movies. I hope you enjoyed, and bye-bye.